What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video. We're back in Park Studio, and we have a new title screen, and there's actually a few aesthetic updates here in the 0.1.2 build of the game. So we did get an update, and we had a few patch updates as well. I think we're in 0.1.2C. So there's a few aesthetic updates. There's a few updates, I think, a little bit to the coaster builder. We also have custom supports to work around with, not like a ton of pieces, but we do have a few to work with if we want to create some custom supports, which is really nice. But you can see the new title screen looks really crisp, really nice. We have like some really awesome visuals of some of the foliage, rock work, and everything in the game. And we also have a nice little coaster piece coming around this little building here, which I'm guessing is probably at the station for this ride. With that being said, our older builds, so like our old saves, might not work properly, and I've noticed that in my last coaster, my station is actually gone. So we're gonna go ahead and start a new build in the game and see what we can create. So I kind of want to do something a little bit different, because I was gonna do one more episode with that coaster, but since we have the new update, which is totally fine, we're gonna try and build something new and go from there. So I'm gonna do a time lapse, and it will be kind of fun to see what we can build. I kind of want to do something that not necessarily a dark ride, but kind of utilize some dark ride features. So maybe like the first part of the ride, there's a little bit of a dark ride section. Nothing too crazy, like maybe like one turnaround and then it goes into a launch, just to kind of give that little taste of a dark ride and have it a little bit themed. But you can see as we go in here, I'll showcase some of the stuff before we go into the time lapse, that we do have a new layout for the UI. Kind of, it's just a little bit updated visually. Instead of a big line now, I think it's separated a little bit here, which is actually quite nice looking. You have your building pieces, building stuff here. You have your terrain and landscaping with paths and stuff right here, undo and redo. Just a little slight aesthetic update to this, which is nice. And then if we go into buildings, you can also see that we have coaster parts, and we actually have a few pieces to choose from. We actually have this, which is a kind of like a mock ride slash Intamin triangular track. It just says modern triangular, and we can use all of these different pieces for that. We have two different sizes of supports here. We have a thick one and a smaller one, and then intimate connectors, mock rides connectors, or mug rides rather. But if you don't like how big these are, we can actually go in. Again, there is a sizing tool in this game where you can change the size. There is a bug at sometimes where it won't allow me to change it. Like right now, it's not gonna let me change it, but you can change the size of these. But I ran into a bug where it's not letting me move anything, which is kind of a random. Oh, there it goes. Now it'll work. So if you click in and out of it, sometimes it'll work. So if you get that bug, just click in and out of it. I'm sure there'll be a fix as well for it. But you can see you can change the sizing of all the pieces in the game, which is also cool. And then if we go into scenery, I did get a little bit of idea, because we do have like these new mannequins as well. We have a female and a male. Where you can change the colors as well, and these guys kind of look like spacemen a little bit, so I figured I could maybe do like a small dark ride section based around these guys, potentially. So that's kind of like my idea. I'm gonna do like a black and white color, like we could do something like that and make it look like kind of like have sort of a space theme. I want to do like a small dark ride section, nothing crazy, because I know there's going to be updates coming out and there could be potential of this not being working anymore. So I'm going to keep that in mind, but we're going to use the Intamin model here. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a time lapse and create something awesome. All right, getting into the time lapse, kind of the slower time lapse, but we're going to create the ride layout in this episode, and we're not going to be doing too much theming or the dark ride section too much, and this is going to be a very small layout. Also, a quick tip, if you haven't seen before, I've mentioned it in the last video. I think it's a good idea to always create like your brake run, your we will have transfer tracks in the future, but create all that first. That way, you don't have to worry about lining it up with the station later. So you already have your final brake run ready. and you don't have to worry about lining it up with your station at a later time. You can just line it up with the brake run, which if you have like a twist or twisted track into the brake run, it kind of works a little bit. So to start off things here, we're going to create a little bit of a dark ride section. So it's just going to be this turnaround, and then we're going to go into a launch, and that's going to be the dark ride section. There's literally not going to be anything. I just want to see what we can do now that we have like some really cool lighting in this game. So I want to create like the beginning of the ride with some cool dark ride sections. I know we don't have enough theming stuff to really do anything, but I'm going to use kind of like those mannequins to kind of give it that little bit of a space theme and everything like that. So we're gonna go with that, and we're just basically gonna have a launch into this hill and then a twisted turn, or kind of like this bank turn going into the brake run, and then that's basically it. So this isn't going to have much to the layout. I don't want to create something huge because, again, I'm not going to go too in detail with this because this is only going to be like a small little ride that, you know, because we don't know, I don't know when the next update's going to come out, and I'd like to get this finished before that. As you can see, we still have kind of like that color glitch, so just to note to the developer, I did get this little color glitch, but once I got to the brake run, it did recolor back to the blue, so I'm not entirely sure what triggers it, but I think he had some sort of a fix to it, but I did run into it again somehow in this build, where it just randomly decided to change it back to the generic colors, and I couldn't change it back. You can see the track colors are set to the blue, so I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but I wanted to do the blue track color to kind of give that space-ish kind of theme going along here, so very, very cool. And yeah, we're just gonna have this turn go into the brake run, and then that's about it. Very simple ride layout. I just wanted to mess with the track a little bit. As far as I know, we can't really do much of inversions just yet. I did try in a previous recording, so that's something to kind of note as well. I didn't realize it till after the recording that the first hill did get off somehow with its like it wasn't a straight piece of track. Some of it was like off to the side, so I did fix that off screen. You'll see in the next episode. So if you did mention it or did notice it during this time lapse, just know that I did get it fixed. It just did it off screen. But yeah, so now that we close the loop here, we can see that, and then I just wanted to usually at this point just go back and kind of readjust some of the nodes and make sure I try and smooth out some of the track pieces as best as I can. So that is that, and works pretty well. And also getting the turn into the brake run nice and neat. I have noticed some weird, you'll notice it in here, some weird things going on with the block section. So that's another bug I kind of want to, you know, a lot of these things may have been addressed, but I still like to mention them anyways, just in case they haven't. I'm not active in the Discords enough and everything, so I had to adjust the target speeds a lot. I put them up, and then they went a little bit too fast, so I had to put them back down to a reasonable speed. So a lot of testing here of the layout, trying to get the ride where I want it to be. I did not change the color of the trains. I probably should have done that as well. We'll do that in the next episode. But yeah, so this episode, basically, we're just going to work on the track layout, get it perfect, and get the ride running the way we want it before we get into that station and dark ride section. And then that's basically all we're going to do with this build, is have a nice cool little dark ride section, and then just have the hill thing. So you can see kind of the block sections are kind of hard to get correct because I think they are a little bit bugged out right now. I tried different settings for the blocks because you can check mark the blocks and everything. I eventually just got rid of the second train because it was just a little bit too buggy at the moment. And I don't know if there's something I did potentially wrong or anything, but the trains would go in and out of themselves, and then there would be times where the trains would dispatch with the restraints open. You can see that actually kind of right here, I think. the restraints are actually open a little bit. So I know a lot of you will want a POV of this as well. I will get that to you guys probably in the next episode. I just had problems getting onto the train. I did eventually get onto it at one point, but I wanted to get a little bit started on the platform. You can see I was fighting that glitch where it doesn't want to move the the pieces, and hopefully that gets fixed pretty soon. And again, the developer does a lot of bug fixes very often, and there are a lot of updates that come out quite often. So I have good confidence that a lot of these things will get fixed, because, you know, some new things come up when you fix other bugs, and it can be probably a big pain in the butt to get it to where there's no bugs at all. So, but anyways, that's about it for this episode, and then we'll be back later on to continue the small dark ride section, just because I want to see what it turns out to be. So anyways, make sure you guys have a great day and cool tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me on this awesome new episode of Park Studio, and more to come. So see you guys, and goodbye.